Greetings, metalheads worldwide, and welcome back to the Banger Bar for yet another edition of Lock Horns. This week, we're doing something a little bit different. Usually, we rip apart the heavy metal family tree. This week, we are going to focus on the best albums of the first half of 2016. It's been a very busy year. Before we get into it, I want to remind everyone who's watching this on the YouTube that this airs live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Please subscribe to Banger TV and check us out on Apple TV as the official metal curators. This week, a couple of returning guests with me. I've got Jason Deaville and Tim Henderson from the infamous Bravewords. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, this is going to be a lot of fun. I want to give a shout out to everybody who's watching. We've got fans today from Portugal, Rhode Island, USA, Connecticut, Kentucky, Germany, Sweden, Finland, Mexico, Aggressive Tendencies here in Toronto. How you guys doing? Ireland, for fuck's sake. And last but not least, Jersey in the Channel Islands, which I think might be a first. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Just a bit of a description of how we're going to handle things this time around. Each of us are going to pick our top 3 albums so far of the year, and then we're going to open up the floor to all of you to tell us what you think and to add your choices as well. And when you add those choices, most importantly, we don't want to hear just what you like, but we want to hear why you like it. Off camera, of course, we've got the majesty herself,
The something.
Lisa Lattisour, and when she rings this sound, that means we have to move on. Okay, speaking of moving on, guys, Tim, start with you. What's your thoughts on the Metal Gear so far? Any
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
Which is a good thing. Metal. We just get pounded daily with whether it be news, information, but the releases, it's just like this outpouring of heavy metal love. Like it's been a great 2016 so far.
Cool.
And some good quality metal.
Good.
Absolutely.
And Jason, what about you? How are you feeling about the year so far?
Pretty cool so far. A lot of big releases from a lot of well-known kind of established acts.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, we've had a lot of really cool kind of new bands and debuts come out. So it's been a mix of both.
Yeah.
I've kind of tended to float towards the newer stuff that's coming out. It's been
Cool.
kind of on my radar and
Yep.
the stuff, I've been reviewing and
Good.
but still tons of great metal.
Great. We like to honor the gods, but we like to respect the newcomers as well. So, Tim, before we get into the records, you've come prepared with a little bit of homework.
Tiny
This
bit.
guy
I know.
knows what he's doing. So far, in terms of news items this year in metal, what comes to mind for you as sort of standout moments?
Well, we always gravitate towards sadness, so we ought to talk about Nick Menza.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That was a huge death.
For sure.
And he was a young kid, 51, right?
Yeah.
And those 3 Megadeth records, especially Rust in Peace, is arguably one of the greatest pieces of work of all time. And his drumming is, you know what I mean? It's long lasting, it's beautiful. Got to mention the whole Brian Johnson situation because that's another sad reality. Hopefully he'll come back.
Yeah.
Mixed reaction whether or not Axl is doing the right job, but the band seemed to like him.
Yep.
And I don't think they're seeing a lot of returns in terms of tickets. So yeah, they're rocking and rolling. And Axl gets to front 2 of the greatest bands of all time.
Cool. And this might be a little too TMZ for the Banger Bar, but Ozzy and Sharon in the news again, of course.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of debate whether it was a publicity stunt. So I'm not going to call Sharon out on that. We'll see. Let's just hope that they can keep everything on track and get his career back on track. Because there's talk that there's another solo record from Ozzy coming, right? No more Sabbath, right?
Right.
Told that maybe 2017 will be the final Sabbath shows.
Yeah.
So let's just hope those rings stay on the fingers.
Cool. All right. Good stuff. It's been a good allegiance for metal, needless to say. Okay, so enough about news. We're just going to get right into it. And guess what? I get to go first. Quelle surprise. So we each went away, chose our top 3 metal albums so far of the year. I went back and sort of took a look at the Overkill reviews I'd done so far and realized that before I introduced the 4 skull rating, the only thing that got 2 out of 2 skulls was the debut album from that guy, Abath. What can I say? For me, always been an Immortal fan, and always respected the fact that Abath is sort of front and center as the creative force in the band. I thought it was just a great combination of black metal and kind of stomping rock and roll. I really like the production on the album. The drum sound in particular, I don't know what, the super woody snare was super cool and not something you often hear in metal. The drums tend to be very metallic sounding. Two War, Winter's Bane, Count Your Dead, great tracks. So there you go. There's my pick of the year, my top pick of the year so far, and I think I have an ally. Artur Felipe Castana, welcome back, sir. Abath, to me, is the comeback of the year killer album. I don't know if I would call it a comeback, because for me, Immortal never really went away, but that's kind of like the weird world I live in. Hannah Kay gracefully adds Hail Abath. So there you go. There's the icebreaker. That to me was the top album so far. I'm not sure everyone agrees, but
Hail
you know
Immortal.
what?
Hail Immortal.
Hail Immortal.
Because they're not gone.
That's true. Let's not count them out. I know you guys picked other albums, but any thoughts on Abath? Was it a strong record for you guys? Was it disappointing?
I think Tim and I and you, we all got to see him Heavy Montreal, right?
Yeah.
The performance was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you're saying disappointing?
Yeah, relatively disappointing.
I'm going to say it's not my top for sure.
Okay.
That's politely done. And I disagree with everything that Sam says, because I think the production is kind of mediocre. It was rushed.
Yeah.
If it was on, I don't think Marcus Steiger would have let that thing out of the cage if he was still on Nuclear Blast.
Right. Okay.
But
Fair enough.
if you like it raw and primal, maybe that's where he wanted to go.
Yeah. Fair enough. I guess
Right.
it depends on your taste. I kind of liked it that it felt a little bit sort of rough around the edges and didn't have that sort of layer of sheen that we get on a lot of records these days. But anyway, it's just an opinion. But Daniel Warnes has weighed in, who says that Abath's album is great. There's a good black and roll sound to give it a primitive swagger that lets all of us know Abath is awesome. And of course, Abath is a character and becoming even more so. I mean, it's kind of like the cat, something's been let out of the cage a little bit with Abath. He's, running amok a little bit on the internet. But hey, I find him actually to be one of the more entertaining performers in metal
And this might turn
today.
into a news piece of the year, the Abath Immortal kind of. There's some ramblings right now on the internet about stuff going on and
And whose material is whose.
Yeah. That's right.
So who knows where that's
Some
going to go.
controversy brewing, which gives us something to talk about maybe in 6 months or so. Okay, but enough about me. Going to these guys. Does it matter, Lisa, who goes first? Tim or Jason? Tim.
So I get to go first?
Yes, go ahead.
And this seriously beats the hell out of Mr. Abath. The new Flotsam and Jetsam. I've been living and breathing this record since it came out. I got to tell you, Eric A.K. is one of the greatest singers of all time, and arguably overall the band are one of the most underrated bands of all time. But this record is just a stormer. Michael Gilbert, the guitar player, is just on fire. Jason Bittner from Shadows Fall just beats the fucking living shit. Can I say that?
Yes, you may.
He beats the fucking living shit out of the drums on this record.
It's a great drummer.
Forbidden Territories, Life is a Mess, On the Verge of Tragedy kind of hit me because our little mascot puppy died a couple of months ago, which was kind of sad. But they've always been a very emotional band. Right now, that is #1 for me so far this year.
Very cool. Brian Smith on Twitter chimes in saying right now it's a toss-up between Death Angels, The Evil Divide, and Flotsam and Jetsam. A little bit of foreshadowing there. Don't want to give that away. Admittedly, I didn't really give enough listen to Flotsam and Jetsam. I don't know, Jason, if you have a strong opinion on the album.
Not really, just the first 2 singles that had come out,
Yeah.
and I was really taken by the first single, Iron Maiden,
Yeah.
because to me it was truly kind of an ode
Sure, perfect
to that
timing.
band, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful song, and then the second single came out, vocals were a little different,
Yep.
kind of completely different actually, and it didn't catch me like the first one did, but I haven't given the rest of the album a chance yet.
Fair enough. Varn Iyer says Flotsam, hell yes. Donald Gold, oh yeah. F and J was great, and Banger Rules is back, my favorite participant. The new Flotsam, for sure. This, the best one from Doomsday, I would say. Those are some big words. Okay, let's turn to you, Jason. What's your top pick so far?
Well, I'm already seeing a bunch of chatter here. So top pick this year, Vector.
Vector, nice choice. A band that's been actually getting a lot of love and discussion on our social media, especially after I did the review. So tell me what you liked about this record.
Well, not a new band, obviously. They have 3 albums, 3 full lengths. This one comes 5 years after their last, so they've been working on it for quite a while, and it shows. It's a really kind of, it takes the aesthetics of thrash metal, the old school thrash metal, but kind of propels it into space, into this image we're seeing here. And I think they're the torchbearers of where kind of thrash is going right now. Right now it seems to be a lot of, and I've heard this term previously on one of your thrash episode, I think re-thrash. We have a lot of bands doing re-thrash and just kind of rehashing everything. And these guys are throwing something different. So a lot of progressive elements, you know, a la Voivod, obviously the logo kind of harkens back to that. An old band, another Canadian band, DBC, from way back in the day, their Genesis Explosion album. I'm hearing rings of that, and that was one of my favorite albums as a youngster.
Very cool.
So yeah, they're kind of carrying the torch, and it's a really kind of epic story, kind of the first band that's really taken a really heavy narrative stance and actually kind of blown it out of the park with the lyrics. And
very cool.
70 plus minutes of music, and the lyrics kind of have to match that because there's so much going on.
There's a lot going on the board too, so I think you've got some allies. Sir Headshot 12 says amazing album, a thrash metal space opera. Luca Hope Fallon, yes. Gabriel Crimson on Facebook says, for me, Vector takes the cake. It's a sci-fi cake. It's not only a really good album, but they really broke new ground with this one. Musically, it's creative, unique, ambitious, and yet quite catchy. Conceptually, it's well written and has a lot of depth. Thank you for that. And Hari Desicaceri is back. This is the fullest realization of Vector's sound to date. They really push themselves to the limit. There are so many twists and turns throughout this album, it's hard to keep track. It's easily the best thrash album of the year to date. Tim won't agree. Stay tuned. And worthy of a place on the list on the best albums of 2016. It's funny, I reviewed this record for Overkill Reviews, and I have a feeling that it's going to be one of those records that I'm going to like more at the end of the year than after the first few initial listens, because it's a highly ambitious record, and it's insane musicianship. There's big concepts. It never really stays in one place for very long. But you know, I think that it might be maybe for those of us that it didn't resonate with immediately, it might be a bit of a grower because there's so much going on. Do you have an opinion on the Vector record, Tim?
This is where the new school influences me because I don't know the record that well.
Right,
and maybe it'll appear on the end of the year list for me. So it's reaching the top of my prior list to actually listen to.
It's quite possible the world is not quite ready for Vector, but this man is, and so are you guys. So all the power to you. Okay, so Lisa, where are we going next? We going to the board? What's the deal?
I think we get some fan choice, some fan action.
Okay, first up, and this is no big surprise, Death Angel, the Evil Divide, of course, released just, 2 weeks ago, is already getting a lot of praise and traction out there. The Blue Banger says that Death Angel released one, if not their best album ever. Wow, this is one of the best in 2016 for sure. Same goes to Anthrax and Dark Funeral. Some shout outs there. Jonathan Silva is back. It would be a great shame if The Evil Divide by Death Angel isn't mentioned. It's a great album with intensity as well as cleaner vocals on Lost, where I legit thought Dio came back from the dead. And recorded guest vocals for them. Man, Mark's voice is so diverse. It's true. Mark's fucking voice, that guy.
And his just,
yeah.
It's just a fun man as a whole. He is just so entertaining.
So good. Love how they kept true to their 80s thrash roots. The evil that beards do. Evilest beard in the Banger Bar. Death Angel's album is pretty killer. Well,
I need to write that on there.
I think maybe this is also a choice for you, Tim. Are we going there?
Are we going to?
Let's go to you. Let's do it.
Really, already?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Because this is like, we're talking new school.
Oh, you got
and
number
old
2.
school.
Okay, I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah.
I'm jumping the gun. My mistake. My fault. We're not going to quite go there yet. So hang on. Death Angel has been chosen by the boards. What else, Lisa? We want to keep on the boards for now?
Yeah, we're going to take some of the top bands that are being discussed on the chat right now and try and see if we can get them up here, if we can get some consensus.
Okay.
So Death Angel is getting some love.
Okay.
And let's see what else is
Should I add Death Angel on a magnet, or should we wait?
I think you could write them in
Let's
and
write 'em
just
in.
maybe leave them off to the side till we decide.
I love writing magnets because it's my ode to Michelle from Voivod. Because it's so apropos given our discussion about Vector. There you go.
Oh, sweet.
Death Angel. In no particular order, they're just getting put up there. We'll move on. Okay, next band, Flesh God Apocalypse. 021 Sweden says, if Sam doesn't mention Flesh God Apocalypse and King, I'll fucking sell my Headbanger's Journey DVD. I'd never sell the thing he did with Maiden, though. Thanks, buddy. I'm glad we could all get along. Connor Smith adds Flesh God Apocalypse King. It was so goddamn heavy and masterfully composed. And Sasha White or Wheat on Facebook says that it's an awesome symphonic death from Italy. Newest album is a bit less on the death side of things and has a bigger focus on melody and emotion as the Italian opera. So far, my favorite of their albums. Story and music fit together really well too. Thoughts on this record, guys? Was this on your radar so far this year at all? Jason? Tim?
I listened to it.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Fair
and
enough.
I was hoping it'd be on my radar.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
it kind of is.
Okay.
Initially, I was kind of lost with the more melodic approach and wasn't quite as aggressive as their previous albums. But in research for this show, I went back to it and it did actually resonate this time.
Right,
So
right.
maybe within 2 or 3 months' time, it could creep its way up. But right now, I'm kind of on the fence.
Okay.
And that's where I am about a week into it. So it's
At the
Needs
risk of
more
having
attention.
a philosophical moment, it's often hard to evaluate records. Some of my favorite records of all time actually were not the records that I loved the first time I listened to them, right? And I think that that's a challenge of what we're doing here, that I believe that good records sometimes take time to build and to grow. So this is just first impressions, folks.
Yeah.
Don't sell that Headbanger's Journey DVD just because I didn't choose Flesh God Apocalypse, please. Anyway, okay, we got another band up here, Wormed. Banger Rules is back. The new Wormed needs to be there. Please just add it, Jason. Some amazing tech death coming from those guys. You're on the spot here. Andreas Mejia. Where the fuck is Wormed? Heavy motherfucker that satisfies any type of death metal fan. Whether you like brutal death metal or technical death metal, this album is for you. Hell, it even has some mellow death riffing. An album full of exquisite riffing, deep vocals, slam, weird polyrhythms, fast yet unique drumming, audible bass guitar with leading patterns. What the fuck isn't on this record? Polka? Their art really takes you into the greatness that is the universe. No band will ever match Worm's uniqueness. LML. Take a breath.
Can we run that review on Bravewords?
Your work's done for you.
I think you need to write Wormed in just based on that essay alone.
I think it's worth it. Oh, and I didn't write Flesh God Apocalypse. I got some work to do this week. This is a lot of work.
So while you're doing it, I'm just going to
Yes,
add a
please.
point about Wormed. So
Please do.
Wormed, they were on my iTunes playlist for weeks, and I loved it. And I interviewed the band for Bravewords, and it was a really cool interview. And again, like Vector, they have this entire story-driven approach into deep space. The one thing they do better than Vector, I think, is with Vector, it's so technical that sometimes they lose sight of kind of transporting the listener into that kind of deep space element.
Yep.
But Worm does it
I would agree.
perfectly.
Yeah.
So you listen to that Worm album and you feel like you're floating in space.
Very cool.
It didn't make my year end because I felt maybe I listened to it too much.
Right.
It just kind of, I didn't go back to it, a good solid 2 weeks and then kind of
And
played out for me.
sometimes expectations play into it. I mean, it's the worst thing when you have so much expectation of a record and your first impression can never really meet that expectation, and then it's a matter of time. Okay, is it going to kind of come back up above water level, so to speak?
And that's if you go back to it.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes it just still sits there in the
That's
dust.
right. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, feel our pain. You feeling our pain? We got the worst job in the world up here. Anyway, Jeffrey Jackman on Twitter says New Gorguts is the best I have heard, and Ice Cube's a pimp. Yo, Gorguts, the drumming is sexy as hell. The vocals are explosive, and it got me out of my comfort zone as a listener, as it really demands some patience and focus. It has movements, for Pete's sake. Yeah, I mean, Luc Lemay,
he's a legend.
He's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I haven't been able to give that album some time, but a huge Gorguts fan from back in the day. Have you guys sat down and listened to the 37 some odd minute opus, I think it is?
It's just like an EP, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've gone through it once or twice. I want more, though. I want
Yeah.
more than just an EP,
Yeah.
because I think we deserve more. When was the last Gorguts record, right? We're talking a few years back, so.
Come on, Luke.
Yeah, bring it
Tim's
on.
calling you out here, buddy.
Bring it on.
Okay, what else we got here? Lisa Samuel Chacon says that Rotten Sound deserves to be here. Best grindcore this year. Okay, maybe we should go to second picks. Lisa, what do you say?
Well, we actually have some experts from afar
Oh, yes.
that are joining us today through the magic of their webcam.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Okay, we've got a few friends who are contributing this week. This is Kim Kelly, editor at Noisy and resident metal expert at Vice, and she sent us this from Brooklyn.
Hello Banger TV. My name's Kim Kelly, and I'm not entirely sure I'm looking in the right camera lens, so apologies if I look kind of weird. And welcome to my lair. I'm the heavy metal editor at Noisy, Vice's music website, so as you can imagine, I get sent a lot of music, and I listen to a lot of metal. Like, a lot. So with that being said, it's a little impossible, like definitely impossible, for me to pick out my favorite record of the year so far, or even like a top 5. But for now, I can definitely tell you that one of my favorite speed metal, favorite like fast, favorite dirty and ugly and mean records of 2016 so far is Savage Masters with Whips and Chains. It's out now on High Roller. It's honestly like an 80s speed metal dream. It just happened to have come out on a German label this year.
So Kim Kelly joining us there from Brooklyn. She chose Savage Master. This album completely missed me. You guys? Yeah. Okay. We gotta pick it up later. Thank you, Kim, for your contribution. Okay, now we get to go back to our second picks. And my number 2 so far for 2016 is Aborted from Belgium, or mostly from Belgium. Their brand new album, Retrogore. You know, as I said in my review, this is not really a band that I've like religiously followed over the years. So when I went into it, it's like minimal expectations sometimes play into it. And I was fucking blown away by this record. Obviously really technical death metal. I thought the production was fantastic, but sometimes for me, tech death metal kind of passes over the line without letting moments breathe and that real musicality and that epic quality. So I really like the Aborted record. I thought it was super, super strong and totally caught me by surprise, which is a nice thing that happens once in a while when you don't have your expectation and you're just like, holy fuck, what have I been missing? So Aborted worked for me. Okay, Metal Tim, what's your number 2 for this year?
I think I've seen it on the screen.
Uh-huh.
Because we all attend some kind of church, but this is the best church to attend. It's called Metal Church.
Thank you. A brand new band. No.
Yeah, brand new band.
Essentially, they're doing it.
Well, Mike had us back. It was once David Wayne left to do the whole Reverend thing, they had to fill this big gaping hole, and he did it admirably. Blessing in Disguise, I think, ranks as one of the greatest metal church records after the first 2. So to have him back, because he's been kind of on a desert island somewhere, escaped the music industry, he just wanted to do the family thing, but his voice sounds amazing. Cool. But the star of the show always has been Kurt Vanderhoof. You can't call Metal Church a thrash band, right? They're just like a pure heavy metal band, but his acoustics, his power riffing, it's golden. He is really one of the treasures in the heavy metal scene.
Cool. Okay, before we get to that, I think I have some allies on Aborted there. Let's go back a step. Justin Fogarty, yes, Aborted, thank you. Federico Manrique, yes, man, Aborted. And Colin Lacativa, hell yes, for Aborted. Extremely, supremely heavy and maddeningly, love that word, brutal. Thank you, sir. And for Metal Church, support for Tim. Kyle Kettelberger says in terms of best comeback record, we've apparently had 2 comeback records already. I'd say that goes to Metal Church. The new record with Mike Howe is a killer. And Subian Harm, yes, Metal Church, it's like they've not aged. They're all part of the church. Jason, your pick for number 2 so far this year.
So we have some Canadian content here.
Excellent.
Out of Montreal.
Best kind of content.
Cathelist.
Cathelist. We'll put that down there.
You see that?
So, tell me about this band. I know
So,
nothing about
educate
this band.
us.
Yes.
Cathelist, young guys, mid-20s. The guy from Beyond Creation and the guy from First Fragment. This is their band. They have one demo previously. What they do is they take the Northern European death metal sound, the old school sound, bands like Crematory, Demolik, and they add kind of that new Quebec, Montreal tech death sound to it. So it's like, if you listen to it, it's like being in a fucking cavern, man. It's deep, it's dank, it's horrific, like a monster's around the fucking corner at any time. But then you get these neoclassical solos that just pop up out of nowhere. And it's really kind of a cool dynamic. And they're actually doing this stuff better than some of the guys that, created this stuff, in my opinion. For the nerds out there, Nerdgasm time, they actually delve into some video game territory. One of their songs harkens back to Legend of Zelda. And so they kind of bring the Legend of Zelda mythos into old school death metal and add kind of a Lovecraftian vibe to it.
Very cool. Well, there are some other people out there that know about this band. It's not just you. Got some allies. Lord Zycon, fuck yes. Cathelist and Hendrik Marison, Cathelist, yes. This guy knows his shit. I got to hear this record. It's inspiring for sure.
All right, guys.
Yes, Lisa.
Rapid fire. What else do you have?
What else do we have? My third pick. Maybe a bit of an obvious one, and Amon Amarth, very popular band, a band whose albums I've been listening to for a while, and I just find they're one of those bands that, you keep thinking you're not going to go back to the well, and I just keep going back to the well. There's some great riffing on this album. This is sort of more towards, do I call Amon Amarth a mainstream band? That seems ridiculous considering the music that they play, but I just found there's some great moments on this record. The riff in Raise Your Horns might arguably be one of the best opening metal riffs that I've heard in a long time. They seem to keep finding ways to do variations on the theme, which I think is a very hard thing to do, not only in metal, but in music in general. So big respect for Amon Amarth. Tim, what's number 3 for you?
Death Angel, called... This is a great album too.
Yes.
I'm craving my Swedish death metal because there's not so many bands that are doing it properly anymore.
Yeah.
And these guys have been around forever. So this has got to be one of the greatest picks of 2016. But we've seen a million comments about the Death Angel. You know what I mean? I'm more old school and Bay Area rules. So they both deserve to be in there.
Very good call. Well, Tim switched. Everybody, we're gonna call him out on this. It was Dark Angel, Dark Funeral, and then Dark Angel would be good too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Darkness Descends. Dark Funeral was his choice, and he flipped. But I think you probably got some allies out there on the Dark Funeral record as well. Jason, you're number 3.
All right, another debut full length. This one from Sweden. It's Gutter Instinct.
Very cool.
So what these guys are doing, fucking amazing. So they're
cover.
taking, it's awesome.
Yep.
They're taking that entombed aesthetic, that Skogsberg sound, that really fucking deep old school death metal sound, and they're doing it better than the Entombs. The Entombs, plural.
Yeah.
I know Entombed AD are probably going to see a lot of year-end lists.
Yep.
But I guarantee, right now, if you YouTube these guys, check out the song Age of the Fanatics, and guaranteed to make a bunch of year-end lists. Again, it takes that Entombed sound, but they filter it through kind of this crust-encoded, fucking, I don't know, fuzzy, I can't even explain it. Go listen to it.
Very cool.
Fucking
Well,
incredible.
it's kind of inspired. We were talking earlier before we got started about maybe we should be doing a debut albums of the year list at the end of the year as well, because I feel like often the debut albums get overlooked, and I think it's important to think about the future and sort of where these bands are going to be. Let's look at the board. 021 Sweden. Sam, I would like to let you know that since you did what was right, I won't sell a Headbangers Journey DVD. Thanks, buddy. I can keep the shirt on on my back, aggressive tendencies, gutter instinct sounds like something profound lore might put out, super dark and disgusting death metal. Delicious Dishes is back, hell yeah, gutter instinct. So you've got some allies there. Cool, well we've got our top 9. It's an odd, no, it's 333. It's half of 666. Yeah. We can turn this into a metal concept somehow. There's our 3 picks, but Lisa, I think we're going back to the video, yeah? We're
going to the other side of the planet. It's early morning in Australia.
Yep.
And we woke up Andrew Hogg.
So Andrew Hogg is by far one of the best, most knowledgeable, and funniest dudes in metal. We love you, Andrew.
I love you, buddy.
And here's what Andrew has to say about metal so far this year.
What's up, Banger TV, all the way from Australia. This is Andrew Hogg for AndrewHogg.com, which is Australia's first and only dedicated 24/7 rock metal radio station. Here to talk about one of my favourite records for 2016 is the brand new Catatonia album. The album's called The Fall of Hearts. Now, one word to really define this group is consistency. You go back to their back catalogue and it's incredible. Why this band isn't in bigger places, I have no idea. Sure, they're probably not as adventurous musically as their good buddies Opeth, but for within the musical camp of Catatonia, they just always deliver great music. Production as well has always been a huge factor for this group as far as, you know, just amazing sounds. So I highly recommend this group. They're coming to a city near you. Go and see this band live. They're amazing. And even check out their massive back catalogue, like I said. So highly recommended. The brand new Catatonia album. It's called The Fall of Hearts. Check it out.
Thank you, Andrew. We love you. He picked the Catatonia record. We've got some comments on the board who agree. Jens Skalberg says Catatonia, The Fall of Hearts, simply the best, even after 50 listenings. That outdoes Abbott for me. Ugh. It gets better and better. Catatonia.
That's what it needs. It needs 50 listens, and that's not an insult. Because give me the Bloodbath. Give me. They're like the Jekyll and Hyde of heavy metal, right? Because I love the Bloodbath stuff.
Me too.
And
I do.
Bloodbath. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But this thing needs a lot more attention. You'll just put it aside if you just like leave it at once. So I agree with the 50 listens.
Yeah. Have you listened to this record, Jason?
Yeah, I think I fell asleep at work.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, I did.
Ouch!
I love Catatonia, loved them for years, but I think after Bloodbath, I don't know, just something doesn't seem right anymore.
Yeah, well,
you'll stick with Jekyll.
Yeah, Jekyll.
I'm going to see Michael Ackerfeld in Iceland next month, so I'm just going to pin him to the wall about fucking Bloodbath because we all want it. I mean, I've never known a band to put out a better 2.5 records in the history of extreme metal. Anyway, we move on. From now on, we're going to talk to you guys. You tell us about what other albums you want to see up here on the board. Okay, let's go. Dan Flicht. Too much focus on extreme metal. Where are the more melodic? Where is the prog guys? Where is Haken? Fair enough. Showing our colors up here, or our lack of colors.
Where's baby metal then, I guess?
Where's baby metal?
Oh, there's a lot of baby metal chat.
Baby metal.
This isn't the baby metal episode, though,
This
right?
is not the baby metal
Go
episode.
check out Lady Baby. Way better. Lady Baby.
Baby metal. Artur Felipe Castana. I am so mad that Rotting Christ Rituals did not have a mention. Lucas Kaus agrees. Sam Rotting Christ Rituals. What about that record, guys? Have you listened to that record? Yeah, over your head. Same here, but thank you. Killswitch Engage comes from Eli Unger. Killswitch Engage needs to be up there because it was their best album ever and had the best album of the year. Flight Rock 1, Killswitch Engage, Incarnate, even though they are mainstream, they still provide heavy, high-quality metal. Pisa 87, yeah, Killswitch's new record is a monster. It's funny, for me, I've started to do record reviews for the first time in my life, like this year. And so I've listened to a lot of records that I wouldn't necessarily listen to. And listening to Killswitch, I was like, holy fuck, like, this is a good band. This is a band that can play. I know it's got the Beauty and the Beast vocals. I'm not a fan of the good cop, bad cop thing generally at all, but hey, respect to them. I don't know if you guys care.
In like that category of bands that I didn't want to listen to.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's something that I guess we need to pay
And
more
then when I
attention
sat
to.
down and listened to it, I was like, okay, yeah, it's got that clean thing and everything, but I was pretty impressed with what they had to offer.
I say put it on.
Put it on.
I think based on longevity and consistency of just solid material, even if it's not what we love, you know, they're doing it the best that it can be done.
That's a good point. I mean, you know, you think Historical tangent. If you get into the whole new wave of American metal and you look at it now, so many of those bands are gone, and really now it's just like Lamb of God and Killswitch Engage. And I never would have imagined that Killswitch would have been a band doing a co-headlining tour with Lamb of God recently. It's sort of like, wow, like good job, guys. Like you're doing it.
Faced, and there's a lot more records in their catalog
For
that
sure.
you may want to revisit.
For sure, yeah. So good job. Okay, Zepp Head 0110X, Lost Society is the most underrated thrash band out today. A good midpoint between crossover and good old-fashioned Bay Area thrash. Exodus meets DRI. I got to listen to this record.
Yeah, sounds like
Don't know
something
it. The Nightmare Rider, so much extreme metal. We need Mirath, Believer, to balance out with melodic and emotional Middle Eastern folk metal. Very cool. Fabio Mainieri, Arctis by Ishan. This was a contender for me, for sure. I was pretty impressed with this record. A rich and diverse extreme metal journey. There are no weak points and the 10 songs flow wonderfully. I would agree. Arctis is essentially a prog metal album with its roots in black metal, but the drumming is full of grooves. Many songs contain clean vocals and slow tempo moments. To me, this all adds to the experience and variability, and a serious candidate for album of the year. Yeah, I was really blown away by that record, actually. It went from like atmospheric black metal to like Eddie Van Halen, like top down.
That was my favorite quote of the year so far from Jason about that record. How he's very influenced by Mr. Van Halen.
Yeah, soft top metal.
I hear a lot of Devin Townsend on that record too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, me as well. And
But give me Emperor. Sorry, back to more extreme metal.
Yeah.
Give me another Emperor record.
I think what this album does for me, it's like The Last Enslaved. It's something that I can put on with a glass of wine every once in a while and appreciate fully. It doesn't make my year end because it's not something I could listen to over and over and over and over.
Right.
I think it deserves more than that. It deserves more attention than that.
Yeah.
It seems like almost a disservice to put it on the year end for some odd reason.
Yeah, no, it's true. I was definitely torn here, and I liked the record because it had a presence of a lot of heaviness, but it wasn't always a riff-driven record. It's like, this is a heavy record, but it's not like just taking you from riff A to riff B and kind of pummeling you over the head. So anyway, good job, Ishan. We all love your work. Ateka Acidic, in surprise to 2016, Killswitch Engage killed it with their album Incarnate with Hate by Design being one of the most personal faves, and duly noted. I did cure a guy of an erectile function. Awkward pause. We move on. Here we go. The Evil That Beards Do. Agoraphobic Nosebleeds album Arc is a killer listen. Their take on sludge metal is spot on. Steven Santanis, Where the Fuck is Destroyer? 666. Fellow Aussie to Hogue. If you want the sound of metal untamed, this is it. Fuck the Others. Fuck the Others. That'd be a good metal album title. Kyle Kittelberger says Anthrax. Yeah, interestingly, I don't know, Lisa, maybe I'm just not seeing it. Not a lot of Anthrax love
There's two big four records that we
or
haven't seen.
Megadeth love we've seen on the board, which there's some notable loud absences here, if you will. But Kyle says Anthrax's new album is certainly one of the best metal albums of the year. In my opinion, I think it's their best album of their career. Matthias Mays, For God's Sake, For All Kings is awesome. John Denay's contribution was perfect. The solos were fucking awesome. And Belladonna, and there's also Shadows Fall alumni on this record. And Belladonna's vocals were on top. Album of the year. Let's pause and talk about the two of the big four. Any opinions?
I think Mr. Mustaine, I love him to death, but he's just overthinking the concept. And I know I sound like an old man. It's kind of like the Aerosmith and Def Leppard. It's just like, get out of the studio already. Go back into the garage and just get it more lean and mean. The Anthrax record is great. The last one was unbelievable.
Right.
This one is almost there.
Yep.
So it'll still be at one of the tops of my list for sure. But Megadeth, Dave, I don't know.
Yeah. Any opinions, Jason?
Well, if I had to pick a song of the year, it'd be Anthrax's Breathing Lightning. It's fucking incredible. I love that song. Can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
Rest of the album, very cool too. But yeah, it maybe didn't catch me as much as the last one, but certainly catches me more than the Megadeth. Sure. Anthrax still going strong. I think they're doing what Megadeth can't do anymore.
Yeah. Anthrax was strong. I thought it was a good record. Megadeth left me wanting. I felt like, you know, you add one of the top metal drummers on the planet and the guy and you know, one of the top guitarists from Angra, and it's sort of like, but it's just
And
still
so much
sounds like
build-up,
Dave,
like an incredible
you know.
amount
And
of
I wanted a record that sort of kind of reflected the new blood
Yeah.
a bit more, and I didn't feel it did that. So there you go. Opinions, we've all got them. Donald Gold, yes, Anthrax new album is good from start to finish. Zephead 0110X says, give me some Megadeth. Dystopia was a huge album for their career. At this point in their career, this album was a make or break situation, and I think they really knocked it out of the park. Fair enough. And Shark Crusher 13, Dystopia was good. Love Kiko's contribution. Fair enough. And Jao Sarao says, put Anthrax on the board. I know where you live. It's like the mob's out on me this time around. Okay, well, let's put the old guys up on the board, shall we?
Hey, we got Death Angel up there. It's old school love fest.
Anthrax is one. Megadeth is the other. What are you thinking, Lisa? How are the boards doing?
Oh, there's so many records.
There's a lot of records.
And so many sad people because they want to talk about their records. So let's keep going.
Okay, let's keep pounding on through. Attack Acidic says, Sam, please mention Moon Sorrow or else I'll cry. We don't want any crying on this show. Dizchu, if Moon Sorrow doesn't get a mention, I will destroy the planet. And Hari Desicachari says that I love how they kept the blackened sound of the last album while integrating the folk instruments more fully into the mix. I really dig the production as well. It feels really organic. All in all, an excellent effort from a band that has yet to produce anything of substandard quality. I think Hari might be winning the prize for the best comments on the board.
Doing pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're showing our colors here. Obviously, the three of us gravitate a little bit more towards the extreme sound. I mean, Moon Sorrow, is this a band that registers for you guys at all, or?
Back in the day, I haven't really followed what they've been doing recently.
Fair
but
enough.
you know, I'm kind of curious now reading these comments.
Yeah.
So
Sir Headshot 12 agrees Moon Sorrow. It was great. Talk about it, please. Very, very interesting. Come on, Sam. Come on. Okay, well, we're gonna have to mix up the pot here. We need some folk and power metal representation, I think, on the board.
Or you could just write in Moon Sorrow right now.
Or we can just write in Moon Sorrow. I love Lisa. The
Hey,
practical
man.
solutions.
It's all about the chat right now. All about the chat.
We're running out of room. I'm probably blocking this out. So Moon Sorrow's going up here. Moon.
Here's an interesting topic of conversation from our friends over at Exclaim, actually.
Please.
Grindmother.
oh wow.
Okay. Aggressive Tendencies, Grindmother debut was a lot more legitimately good than it had any business being, given the novelty factor. Not sure I understand the point there. Please.
Grindmother is the 66-year-old woman who fronts a grind band.
Got it.
I think, well, maybe 62.
Right.
Out of Windsor, Ontario. And she does a phenomenal job. She's actually good. And
You're scaring me.
oh, you got to check it out. Yeah, it's not too bad. I can't remember. Her son's in a grind band out of Windsor. And one day he just asked, "Do you want to throw some vocals on it?" And she did.
You mentioned Exclaim. I was assuming Kvelertak would be up here, but
That was a review you did.
Yeah,
right?
and I actually thought it was a really good record, but I haven't.
I thought it would have been on your top.
Yeah,
10,
it
just
was.
based on
It
your-
was. Yeah, I had an impulsive moment. I gave it 3.5. Banger Rules. Rotten Sound, for Satan's sake. Rotten Sound needs to be there. The best grind record this year, I would say, even better than the last Napalm Death. Those are fighting words. And Napalm Death are grindcore royalty. Samuel Chacon agrees. Rotten Sound. Sam. What do
I
you guys
got to
think?
check it out. If it's anything like
This is my
Better
last.
instinct than-
I'm down to my last two magnets,
Oh,
Lisa.
no.
What are we gonna do?
I'm going to make more while you also write in Death Angel.
We have Death Angel. It's up there. It's at the top. So we're gonna write in Rotten Sound, and there's basically now the gloves are fully off. There's room for one more band and one band only.
what's
Harsh.
great is we're seeing some consistency in these choices.
for
from you.
sure, for
So
sure.
That's
A productive year in metal so far. So Lisa, who gets the last laugh here?
Is it Baby Metal?
Is it Baby Metal?
Oh, Jesus.
If you don't want baby metal on this board, you better say something soon. Caveller Talk, Fallujah is there, Gadget. What else is out there? Oh, you know what we didn't put up? Ishan.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Sorry.
Oh,
Is it IH? It's 2 H's?
IH.
Help me out. Yeah, that's right.
pulling
Thank you.
rank, Sam Dunn.
Oh, well, I
Thank
think
you.
we've got
that
some...
over baby metal. Credibility was just
Yeah,
lost.
that's right. Banger just shut down because we didn't put baby metal on the board. But I think we all agree, and there's been some traction on the board. We talked about it. The Ishan record. Yes, the board is pulling rank. But we do have a few more comments, and this is a record that I thought I'd see something about, is the Fallujah record. Oli Hagman says that Fallujah combined atmospheric ambient guitars with blast beats in a way that had so much emotion you feel like crying in some parts and punch random people in some parts. Tech death at its finest. And Connor Smith simply does Fallujah in all caps. Yeah, I listened to this. Is an impressive record. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out.
But it just still needs more spins.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's a lot. It's on that tech death end of the register, and it takes a lot.
I think I was busy listening to Bork Nagar,
Are you?
which we forgot.
Right,
Bork
Bork
Nagar's
Nagar.
another one.
All right, we're literally like in the last gasp of this fight. So
Well, here's one actually that was on. This would have been a short list for me. Was the Obscura record. Justin Fogarty says Akrasis is full of great songs front to back, amazing guitar riffs, sweep picking, fretless bass work, and slamming drums. Every song serves a purpose ranging from melody to brutality, and Daniel Warnes agrees. Obscura. I was pretty impressed with this record. If you like that clean, super technical death metal. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out at all.
On the pile, and the pile is...
The pile is high.
It's-
Look
it's-
at all these records.
Yeah,
We're only...
it's insane.
I think I loved it based on the Morbid Angel worship that you can hear in there. So
We all love most things because of the Morbid Angel worship. If there was a DNA... Oh, there's a magnet. A magnet dropped from the sky. There is a blank magnet. I don't know if Obscura gets it. Destroyer 666.
seems like between Destroyer 666 and Obscura at this
Okay,
point.
Exhumer. Yeah. That was getting a lot of traction. I don't know. What's it going to be? It's Destroyer 6. It's Germany versus Australia. And this isn't a World Cup match. It's the battle for the medal prize. The Moogle Master contends that Destroyer 666 should get the win, you guys. Caleb Hancock, Destroyer 666, Obscura. It's a full-on battle out there. There's a Bork Nagar comment for you, Jason. What's it going to be? Lost Society, Nervosa. Reviewed those girls today.
Seems
it's
like
time.
Fallujah, actually.
You think it's Fallujah?
really, yeah.
Producer, off-camera producer, pulls rank.
Gorguts made it up there?
I don't know.
Gorguts.
The chat is saying Fallujah, unless it's the people with like multiple accounts.
It's Fallujah.
There we go.
Double L. Yes.
I think it's spelled B-O-R-K.
Oh.
OBS.
No,
It's Fallujah 2
confusing
L's.
now.
Help me out here. Fallujah 2 L's? Yes. Is it 1 L?
F-A-L-L.
LL. Thank you.
J.
J-A-H.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. Metalheads are the best spellers for a reason, people, because look what the fucking words we have to spell. Okay, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Messy,
It's always an honor, man.
but a pleasure
no,
as
fun
always.
mess, yeah.
It's the way
Remember,
it should,
life is a mess.
It's
Lots
the
of
way it
rejection,
should be. So, all in all, pretty damn good start. It's only 5 months in. Bear in mind, we're only reviewing records that take us up to the end of May. So we've got June to the end of the year to come. A lot of great music so far. Some classics, some debuts, some sort of mid-career bands, if you will. Good year. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thank you to Daniel, Lana, Lisa, and Andrew off camera for making this show happen. Next week, we're on a hiatus. We'll be back the week after that. Check us out live if you haven't already, 5 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Subscribe to Banger TV. Goodbye. See you next time.